This is America.
Catholic
and the
pro-life
problem
ministries
is
bombed.
we are not dealing
Catholic
with
pro-life ministries
America's
bombed. You're
original
right.
sin and its disease of hate and racism towards black and brown people and sexism towards women and anti-LGBTQ sentiment. We are not dealing with that. Your colleagues in the Republican Party do not hold each other accountable when it comes to the racism that comes from the party on a consistent basis.
Yeah, got a show for y'all. Got a damn good show. But before we get to today's video, don't forget, got a new giveaway. Cummins Turbo Diesel Ram and 10 grand in cash. But if you enter today, you also entered to win a new giveaway, which is a Ford 250 and a camper and 10,000 in cash. To get in it, just go to my website. Anything you purchase on my website gets you automatically in to win at officialhodgetwins.com. After this dude's done talking, everybody's going to be infected with black fatigue.
This is America.
Catholic
and the
pro-life
problem
ministries
is
bombed.
we are not dealing
Catholic
with
pro-life ministries
America's
bombed. You're
original
right.
sin and its disease of hate and racism towards black and brown people and sexism towards women and anti-LGBTQ sentiment. We are not dealing with that. Your colleagues in the Republican Party do not hold each other accountable when it comes to the racism that comes from the party on a consistent basis.
Congressman, I mean, where are you on
You
the
can't be calm
assassination
about
attempts?
this. I'm a black man in America. The reason why heart
Because I'm
disease.
white, I can't comment on
Listen
that?
to what I'm
Is that
saying.
what
The
you're
reason
saying?
why heart disease and cancer
pretty
and
racist,
obesity
because I can't
and
comment on that.
diabetes are bigger in the black community is because of the stress we carry from having to deal with being called the N-word.
So being called the N-word and the fear of being called the N-word causes heart disease and diabetes. Has nothing to do with the fried chicken we be eating. Yeah. Ain't got nothing to do with us sitting on the front porch, not working, not being active, eating fried chicken all day. That's all diet. It's all diet and lifestyle. That's not skin color. Has nothing to do with your skin color. It's not the N-word. Somebody call you N-word. You know, your artist start calling that up with fat. Man, this dude is a textbook definition of a race hustler.
Directly or indirectly every day. If your colleagues would listen and try to learn and engage and grow and stop being so hateful, we could have a better country.
Jamaal.
But unfortunately, we're still here.
The hate's coming from one side.
Jamaal, I feel your passion, and I understand where you're coming from, sincerely. I really, really do. It happens on both sides, Jamaal. You might think it happens more on your side.
dog,
Jamaal, when I leave the show, Jamaal, you should see my Twitter feed.
And they're acquitted. Rodney King, Abner Louima, Eric Gardner, Trayvon Martin, black cops in Memphis. It's not the same. And I don't want to qualify or quantify pain. That's not what I'm talking about. Everyone goes through pain. But the racism in this country is the disease that will destroy us. And it's destroying us right now as we speak.
Actually, what's going to destroy this country is left-wing, far-left, communist Democrats like yourself. The black vote and the liberal white woman's vote. That's what's going to destroy our country. Yeah, this whole conversation is about, they say Republicans are being Islamophobic to that guy that just won the Democrat primary up in New York because he's Muslim. Yeah. That's why they're having this conversation. Because they're all Republicans calling for him to be what's the term? Denaturalized, lose his citizenship, which is going too far. That is going too far. But he's a communist, and communism is very bad for our country. That's why they're pushing back on him so hard. Yeah, I agree with you about him. They trying to that is crazy. But we got to push back on communism. Communism is very bad. Yeah. It will destroy the United States of America. That's why he's getting all that hate. Yeah.
You're a divided
January
country.
6th,
100%.
everybody was pardoned. Everybody's pardoned. Riots in L.A., they're insurrectionists. But we pardoned everyone January 6th.
So, Congressman,
this
I was
is
there
America.
January 6th. I was a
He's compared what's going on in L.A. to January 6th. Yeah. There's a few people that got out of hand there, but they're like burning down cars, police cars, attacking cops, literally hitting cops with rocks. January 6th was a riot. What they're doing in L.A., the Mexican riots, that's arson. That's actually an insurrection.
That's actually terrorism.
Yeah, terrorism. What's happening in Portland right now? Terrorizing the ICE agencies up there. Transgenders got tased the other day because she was walking around with a machete. I mean, to compare what's going on with the riots, the things with the riots about regarding ICE to what happened on January 6th is just intellectually dishonest. I know why Trump pardoned those people on January 6th. He pardoned because he felt somewhat responsible for what happened and how they treated those people when they was in jail. That's why he gave those people a blanket pardon.
The number one reason why he pardoned them, they were persecuted just because they were a Trump supporter.
Right.
There was people that was going to be sitting in jail 5-6 years.
Up to 15 years.
Yeah, until Tucker Carlson came out and did a story on it and released a bunch of video.
Yeah.
Did they then get released?
Right.
They was looking at time and they didn't even do nothing.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
They actually didn't do nothing.
Yeah, this guy is a straight up liar.
Yeah,
Evacuated January 6th. That was not a racist incident. I don't know why you're making that connection.
My man was walking through the Capitol with a Confederate flag.
I was evacuated.
That's not racist.
What does the Confederate flag represent?
Come on, Congressman.
I'm asking you a question.
This was about a riot in the Capitol.
When you erect a wooden cross in American history, what does that mean? Google black lynchings in the South and watch the images that come up with black people hanging from trees and white people looking and eating sandwiches. This
dude is stuck in the past. I don't think he's necessarily stuck in the past. It's just that's his narrative he's going to push.
Yeah, that's his gimmick.
Yeah. The rebel flag, the Confederate flag, people that wear that flag are not necessarily racist. Some of them are.
Yeah.
Some people with the United States carry the United States flag are racist. But to just flat out say with a blanket statement that whoever wears the Confederate flag is racist, that is wrong and is misinformation. And it's stupid to say that.
Yeah. Well, we grew up in the South, and we've seen that flag a lot in people's yards. A lot of them say it's Southern pride.
Yeah. And
But let me tell you something. Plenty of times when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, I see that rebel flag in the yard, I've been called the N-word. But that was, man, I was like 10 years old. That was in like 1984.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. When I go back to Virginia, I don't see that stuff anymore. Are there people that have the Confederate flag and be racist? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
not all of them are racist.
Not all of them are racist. It's like a Southern pride thing for them.
Yeah.
That's all it really is.
Yeah.
But to go back and say heart disease, cancer, black people are experiencing this because of racism, that is like the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. And it's like, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
She's speechless.
Yeah. You sound like an angry black woman. Absolutely no logic behind your statements. None. And then you're going to conflate all those cases with Trayvon Martin, Rodney King.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't even compare those cases. They're so different.
Yeah, he brought up all those cases. Those cases go back 20, 25 years. And that's the only cases you can come up with?
Yeah.
I mean, this country is not systemically racist. I've seen crazy things happen to white people, and nobody cares.
Right.
I would say you have more credibility if you spoke up against when white people died to the hands of police brutality, but you don't.
Yeah, just black.
I seen a white guy die just like George Floyd, and the cops were laughing about it. It was down in Texas.
Yeah.
He overdosed and everything. The exact same situation as George Floyd.
Yeah.
Nothing happened to those cops.
Yeah. Some of the things he mentions is, I agree with them, but you're actually right for the wrong reasons. You're only calling these things out when it happens to black people. It happens to everybody.
Well, if he calls it out when it happens to white people, then he loses his narrative. It happens to all races.
Yeah, which means it's not racism. It's just police brutality.
Yeah.
And police officers are human. They're going to make mistakes.
Yeah, he's cherry picking.
Like you make mistakes when you pull that fire alarm.
Yeah.
You know?
What was they going to vote for?
I forgot.
And to prevent the vote, he pulled the fire alarm so everybody had to leave. I totally forget what they were voting over.
Yeah, but he's... And then you want to call out what happened on January 6th, but you need to look at yourself in the mirror.
That was the insurrection he did. You stopped a vote.
Yeah, you actually did. Yeah.
You actually tried to stop a vote.
It was a much more clever way than what happened on January 6th, but it's still, you stopped the vote. Why ain't the things you do considered an insurrection?
Yeah. Does he
This is America. We're going to deal with it or not. Why are you in denial?
Stop it. I'm not saying...
Everybody's like speechless because the stuff he said, they're like he's quiet.
Yeah.
She's quiet. She usually has something to say.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I'm not going to try to defend anything he's saying.
Yeah.
She's not neither.
Yeah, and then when you try to talk, he's going to talk over you.
Yeah.
Bowman, Jamaal. He's grandstanding. He's just going to talk all over you. And he's going to talk about things that occurred in the past that has nothing to do with today. Yeah, there's so many stereotypes in this video. This dude's name is Jamaal. 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 What you think you're going to get when you vote somebody in Congress, that name is Jamaal? Yeah. Nothing's good going to come out of that. Jamaal. This dude is a buffoon. He is.